Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Average Review. And today, we're going to be looking at the Marvel Legends mini-comic wave Ultimate Iron Man. Now, in a previous video, I reviewed the Infinity Gauntlet Adam Warlock from, well, this exact wave. So hey, go check that video out if you have the chance. Or mainly if you're just, interested in watching a review on that Adam Warlock figure. Now, quickly rushing through the packaging on this guy, and it's pretty much the same as the Adam Warlock. There are things changed, of course. There's logos and names for Iron Man, specifically the Ultimate version. I do like how they changed the date over here to 2005, to coincide with the Ultimate Iron Man miniseries. And, of course, on the back, we do have the other figures from the wave, along with a bio and an image of the Ultimate Iron Man miniseries cover. Now, I want you to remember that it's specifically based on the miniseries, because the figure itself isn't really based on the miniseries version, and I think that's actually a good thing. So hey, let's stop stalling and see if this Iron Man is really ultimate. Alright, getting this Ultimate Iron Man out of the box, and he is, to my knowledge, a 100% new sculpt. Which, yeah, that'd probably be required for a figure of this specific design. Now, you may be wondering what I meant earlier when I said it's not accurate to the Ultimate Iron Man miniseries and how that's actually a good thing. Well, Iron Man in the Ultimate Universe first appeared in a, canon story in The Ultimates, where his costume is very accurate to this figure. But there was also an Ultimate Iron Man miniseries released later, which gave the suit a lot of changes which didn't look great, especially the helmet. That miniseries also stated that when Tony, or Antonio, as he is in the Ultimate Universe, Stark was born, an accident during childbirth made it so that every cell in his body was a brain cell, and that's why he's super smart. That manages to both completely jump the shark and clash with any existing continuity or realism at the same time, so, yeah, that's pretty impressive. This miniseries was later retconned to be not canon, so, hey, that's pretty good. Now, I know I'm stalling before I get to talking about the actual sculpt, but I want to mention Ultimate Iron Man's origin story, because it's a pretty unique spin on the classic, Iron Man tale. Instead of, getting kidnapped by terrorists and forced to build his suit in a cave with a box of scraps, this version of Tony Stark instead was informed that he had an inoperable brain tumor, and after seeing a young kid named Sam die in chemotherapy even after 3 years of treatment, Tony decided he'd use his last days to do some good. So, he built the Iron Man armor, which, as a bonus, would also slow down the cancer from killing him, and he decided to become a superhero. Yeah, if you can't tell, Tony is one of the few non-Spider-Man related characters in the Ultimate Universe that wasn't just complete garbage, at least from what I've read. But enough talking about this guy's comic stories, let's see how the figure looks, and hey, it is absolutely spectacular. There's so much mechanical detailing throughout the entire suit. I mean, looking down at the boots, they're really bulky at the bottom, which I do really like. It sort of makes it look like this is a real armor that takes a lot of power to fly, especially, down here at, the feet and the boots. I really like the minimal uses of red and yellow on the suit. It's really nice looking and also makes the few bits of red and yellow really pop out against the blacks and the silvers throughout the suit. I love the way the arc reactor looks along with these two dots up here, along with this little collar thing which surrounds the helmet, which is also fantastic. It's such a unique design for Iron Man's helmet. While also remaining similar to the classic design that's existed for decades. I love the bulky gauntlets, especially the cannons on them, along with the super well-detailed mechanical fingers. Looking at Antonio's back, and you can see there's a lot more gray and black, and a lot less red, yellow, and blue, which I feel like works. You want to make the front of the design more exciting, since, I mean, that's what you hopefully be looking at. Overall, Ultimate Iron Man is one of my favorite Iron Man designs, so I mean, this figure accurately capturing it and doing it so well with these, shiny silvers and reds and yellows is really, really nice to see. But hey, with an all-new body like this, let's see how good his articulation is. Alright, looking at the articulation and starting with the top, of course, Ultimate Iron Man has the standard Marvel Legends swivel in the neck. But he's also got a ball joint at the base of the neck so that I can get a bit more range. Unfortunately, he does not look up that far because of the back of the helmet and that high collar. He does get a pretty good amount of down, twist side to side, but unfortunately, thanks to that mask and collar, not all the way around, but thanks to that ball jointed neck, he does get tilt side to side. He's got the standard Marvel Legends shoulders that can spin around, and the shoulder pads are actually a soft plastic and pretty movable, so you can actually raise his shoulders up 90 degrees, which is really nice. He's got the Marvel Legends bicep swivel and double jointed elbows with a really good bend for an armor as bulky like this, along with wrists that can spin around and hinge up and down, although they are kind of limited by that hand cannon right there. Now, Iron Man does have a diaphragm joint and a ball jointed waist, but they don't get that much forward, and they get a little bit of back, along with tilt side to side, although it doesn't really want to hold the pose, and twist, which works just fine. Iron Man's got the standard Marvel Legends ball jointed hips, which can kick forward about 90 degrees, which is pretty impressive, and get an okay-ish split with some difficulty. He's got thigh cut, which gives you some nice turning, along with double jointed knees with, that is a spectacular bend for legs that bulky. He's also got, the standard Marvel Legends ankles that can hinge forward, backwards, pivot side to side, although they are a bit limited by these bulky boots, but they also have ankle rotations so that you can spin the ankles all the way around. So overall, this Iron Man does have some pretty good articulation in some areas, but it is a bit limited by the bulkiness of the armor, which, there isn't really any way around that. Since, they're trying to get the armor fully accurate. Moving on to the figure comparisons, and we gotta start out with the standard male and female comparisons, Renew Your Vows, Spider-Man, and Spinneret. I gotta be honest, I don't really like how this Spider-Man scales with this Iron Man. I think the Iron Man should be bigger in comparison to this Spidey, since the Ultimate version of Iron Man was pretty bulky. Fittingly, though, he does scale better with the Ultimate Spider-Man from Marvel Legends, which is also one of the only other figures from the Ultimate Universe I have in plastic form. But for some main universe Avengers, or should I say Ultimates, we of course have the Star-Spangled Avenger, Captain America, from both the comics, specifically the Legends 20th Anniversary version on the left, and the MCU, specifically the Steve and Sam Captain America 2-pack on the right, since the MCU did sort of mix and match things from the main universe and the Ultimate Universe. One thing they didn't take, though, was Captain America hating French people. For another 616 founding Avenger, though, we have the 80th Anniversary Thor, Here's Shellhead with comic and movie versions of The Incredible Hulk. The comic one is also from the 20th anniversary of Marvel Legends line, and the MCU one is the Professor Hulk Build-A-Figure. Although for the final founding Avengers and Ultimates, we have Toy Biz's version of Ant-Man and Hasbro's version of the Wasp. Thank goodness they didn't base Hank and Janet's relationship in the MCU off the Ultimate Universe. That was awful. Although, hey, let's see how this Ultimate Tony would look with some of the other Iron Man armors from the Hall of Armors. Let's, of course, start out with the beginning. The Avengers Earth's Mightiest Collection Mark I Iron Man. For Iron Man's most classic look, though, here's red and gold and red and yellow versions of the classic Silver Age Iron Man armor. Although for an Iron Man armor that loves the red and silver combo even more than the Ultimate version, here's the Walgreens exclusive Silver Centurion Iron Man. Since Ultimate Iron Man's armor was the Iron Man armor of the early 2000s, I think it's appropriate to bring out the definitive Iron Man of the 1990s, the modular Iron Man from the Ursa Major Build-A-Figure wave. Although, speaking of the modular armor, here's the armored-up Hulkbuster. I think Ultimate Tony sure wished he had one of these when Ultimate Hulk was rampaging around. Although for a different businessman in a powered suit of armor, here's Norman Osborn in the Iron Patriot suit from the Cabal 3-pack. But hey, speaking of villains wearing Iron Man armors, here's the comic Crimson Dynamo Build-A-Figure and the MCU Ironmonger. I've mentioned this before, but I think this Crimson Dynamo is, well, criminally underrated. It's a really fantastic Build-A-Figure. And hey, since he's from the same mini comic wave, here's Ultimate Iron Man with the Infinity Gauntlet Adam Warlock. And yeah, this Iron Man does seem a bit undersized for such a bulky looking suit of armor. Although, as is tradition, here's the mini comic wave Ultimate Iron Man with Hitmonkey and Goliath. Now, in terms of accessories, this Ultimate Iron Man comes with most of what you'd expect for a Marvel Legends Iron Man. Keyword being most of. He comes with your standard pair of fists, the classic open palm repulsor blast hands, and something fairly uncommon for an Iron Man figure, a pair of accessory holding hands. These accessory-holding hands are made to grip a plastic replica of Ultimate Iron Man #1. Did you, notice anything missing from those accessories? Yeah, this Iron Man doesn't come with any repulsor blast effects. Now granted, this isn't a problem for me since I've gotten plenty of Iron Men in my collection, and they each come with a pair of repulsor blasts. But what if this is someone's first Marvel Legends Iron Man? I would have gladly traded this Ultimate Iron Man #1 replica in for even just one repulsor blast. Now, if this was like the DC Direct First Appearance series where they actually came with full reprints of, the original comic in, just miniature form, I would have been ecstatic about that since that's a really cool idea for an accessory. And it'll also get people to read more comics. Maybe pick up the other issues in a series if, it ends on a cliffhanger or something. That would probably make the price of these figures increase even more, but I'd say that's actually worth it. That would add an insane amount of value to a figure, and also, would get a bunch of new comic readers, which is always a good thing. I've been ranting about this too long. Let's move on to the price. In terms of the price, Ultimate Iron Man, like the other mini Comic Wave figures, retails for about $25. This may change a little bit depending on the retailer, since I know on Big Bad Toy Store, he's going for $28. If you're determined to get him on eBay though, don't worry, the price on him isn't that ridiculous. In some cases, it's actually cheaper than retail at around $20, and at most, I've seen it go for about $30. Both of those are in box. So, hey, the prices on this guy aren't too overblown on the secondary market either, which is pretty dang nice. So, what are my overall thoughts on this Ultimate Iron Man? Well, I have a lot of good to say. The sculpt work is spectacular and perfectly accurate to how Iron Man appears in the Ultimate series. The paintwork, phenomenal. I love the sort of gunmetal silver along with the slightly more matte black, along with the bright reds, yellows, and blues to clash with those darker shades. The articulation, despite being a little limited in some areas, is more than satisfactory for a bulky character like this. Also, even though I have my complaints about there not being repulsor blast effects, I do like that this Iron Man does come with 2 accessory holding hands, since not only are those uncommon for an Iron Man figure, but this may be our only Ultimate Iron Man for a while, so hey, I'm glad we're getting the accessory holding hands with him. But I do have some complaints. He's a bit small compared to a lot of Marvel Legends, especially considering, how the armor is meant to be super bulky. Like I said, there's no repulsor blast effects, which are pretty important for a Legends Iron Man, especially since they're included with pretty much all of them. And also, the torso and neck articulation does leave a bit to be desired. But still, this Iron Man is spectacular, and if you love the Ultimates design for Iron Man like I do, I'd absolutely recommend getting him. So, overall, I'm going to give the Marvel Legends Mini Comic Wave Ultimate Iron Man a 9 out of 10. He is truly ultimate. To those still sticking around, well, first of all, have a great day, 'cause you deserve it, and bye-bye.